So you just finished your preparatory courses and you want to be a CPA. Well done. Good for you for getting through any preparatory courses you were taking with us. And we're going to give you a quick overview today of some of those kind of key similarities and differences between the preparatory courses that you just finished and the CPA Professional Education Program modules that you're going to be moving into. Perfect. Excellent. So I think that one of the things that we should start with is the online platform. They both use the Desire to Learn platform to provide the study material, where you upload your assignments and connect with your classmates. So it's great that it's going to be a platform that you're already familiar with navigating for your PEP courses. But when you enter the CPA Professional Education Program, you're also going to get access to the Practical Experience Reporting Tool, or what we call PERT, to begin tracking your practical experience. So this will be a platform that is new to you. Those of you who were finishing up any of your preparatory courses with one of those adapted core preparatory courses, you already know that those are condensed to be completed within an accelerated time frame of 6 weeks with the exam in the 7th week. Well, the regular offering of the PEP modules follows an 8-week semester, meaning approximately 20 study hours per week. So you're already well prepared for that accelerated pace based on having completed your core prep courses. But I will note that if you do decide to take the extended offering of the core or the elective PEP modules, which I'll talk about a little bit later here, they're actually extended over 2 semesters, so run for approximately 20 weeks. So with the PEP modules, you've got the 8-week or the 20-week duration. In terms of the weekly deadlines, folks, this is something that you do want to navigate in terms of a difference, okay? Again, with those adapted core preparatory courses that you were likely kind of finishing as one of your last ones with us, the course activities were self-paced, right? And you just needed to have them completed before the end of the course date. So I imagine there may have been some of you, on the session who were leaving some of that work until the last moment. Well, you do want to note that with the PEP modules, there are submission deadlines for each assignment set. So it's important once you get into your Core 1 module of the program that you check the calendar on the D2L module homepage right away when you get access, so you get a good understanding of those weekly deadlines, okay? You'll also note that each core and elective PEP module has its own survival guide that you're going to get, which outlines the assignment tasks, estimated timing, the deadlines, the resources, and those required submissions. So you do have that survival guide as well to kind of review and be aware of for those deadlines. There's another difference between the prep and PEP as well, and that's in terms of the support that you have, folks. So those of you who were finishing up an adapted core preparatory course, you know that you had that national discussion board that was monitored by a lead facilitator. Well, with the professional education program modules, you have Atlantic facilitators who are going to provide you feedback on your practice cases and facilitate your workshops. So this is great. I mean, it may be some familiar faces for you from some of your university courses, as a lot of our facilitators that we have on contract here are also, instructors at some of the local post-secondary institutions. So it might be a chance for you to reconnect. Another one of the differences as well, folks, something that's going to be new to you in the PEP modules is the introduction of the mandatory weekend workshops that are part of the professional education program. And so those take place once per each PEP module, plus an additional orientation workshop at the very beginning of Core 1. So there's going to be 7 of these mandatory workshops total throughout the CPA Professional Education Program. Those are going to last for a Saturday and a Sunday and be most of the full days, right? So you do want to kind of be prepared for those and be prepared to attend those at your regional exam center in person. So folks, depending on when you finished up your final preparatory course here, or if you're still in the process of doing so, those of you who just wrote final exams in June know that our exams have returned to in-person delivery, right? And so while the exams were adapted slightly during COVID, so this may not sound familiar to you if you did your last prep exam during COVID, the normal core preparatory course exams consist of a mix of that objective format, those multiple choice questions, and the constructed response questions. Now, the PEP exams also consist of a multiple choice question, that objective format portion, but also a case-based portion. And that becomes an increasing part of the focus of these exams as you advance through the CPA PEP. So in the core modules, it's more multiple choice, fewer cases. In the electives, it's more cases, fewer multiple choice, right? And that is to prepare you for the common final exam, which is entirely case-based. So once you get to the CFE, folks, multiple choice are a thing of the past. So that's a bit of a difference as well that you just want to be aware of. There's another one that you want to note as well in terms of kind of scheduling and planning your studies. With your preparatory courses, you had the option of 5 semesters per year, right? With the PEP modules, we only have 4 semesters per year in the fall, winter, spring, and summer. But similar to prep, the PEP course calendar is posted, typically about a year in advance, and so you have kind of ample time to plan out your studies. There's one more big difference that I do want you to note as well for planning, because sometimes folks get a little bit caught up after their first module, okay? And that is with the PEP semesters, the registration deadline for the next semester falls before your final grades are released for your current semester. And I know in your preparatory courses, you did have a couple of days after your grades were released to register and submit payment for the next course. So that's not the case. So for example, if you are coming in to do Core 1 with us in the fall and you plan to take Core 2 right away in the next semester in the winter, the Core 2 registration deadline in the winter is going to fall before your Core 1 exam results are released. And I can certainly appreciate, wanting to wait and know that you've been successful in the course. But what you actually want to do is register for your next module before the registration deadline, even though your grade isn't released yet. And if you were, unfortunately unsuccessful in the course you were completing, our program delivery team would follow up and help you go over your options, okay? So that is something to just kind of be aware of so that you don't get caught up that first time you're moving from Core 1 into Core 2 and you're unaware that you missed a deadline. So those are just some of the kind of things that are going to be a little bit familiar to you, some of the things that are going to be slightly different at a high level, some of the ones we thought were worth kind of mentioning for you as you begin this transition from your preparatory courses into the CPA Professional Education Program. And folks, at a very high level in terms of what comes next for you in the professional education program, well, you probably know that candidates are required to complete 2 core modules and then 2 elective modules, and finally the 2 capstone modules before attempting the common final exam. So the core PEP modules really focus on building a breadth of knowledge across the CPA competency map, and your elective modules focus on building a depth of knowledge in the chosen electives. So folks, we offer taxation, audit and assurance, finance, and performance management as the 4 PEP electives, and you will choose 2 of those to complete. Folks, for those of you who would prefer a more generous timeline to kind of study and absorb your course material once you get into the CPA PEP, you may choose to take the extended offering of the core and the elective modules. So this is a new option to you that you didn't have in the preparatory courses. The extended offering of the core and elective PEP module consist of the same content and structure as the regular version, but they're extended across 2 semesters. And so this brings your study time down to about 10 hours a week. So for any of you who really kind of were struggling to keep up with the workload in your preparatory courses while you were doing those each semester, you may want to consider doing the extended offering of your PEP modules to kind of ease into things and really set yourself up for success. I will let you know that the extended offering of Core 1 begins twice a year. You've got that option to do the extended module in the summer or in the winter. So you may be looking at starting your studies with us in the extended offering of Core 1 in January if you think that's going to be a good fit. Things change a little bit, folks, with the capstone modules. So whereas the core and the elective modules are all available to you 4 times a year in both of those modalities, so a lot of options and flexibility there, the capstone modules are only offered twice a year to back into the 2 offerings of the common final exam that take place in May and September. The capstone modules are really there to kind of deepen, your strategic competencies and use all of the knowledge that you've acquired in those preparatory courses that you're now done with, and also in the earlier PEP modules to prepare you to attempt the CFE. So it's no new technical competencies that are introduced at the capstone modules, just helping you tie everything together and really preparing you for the CFE. And so you are kind of welcome to reach out to your student recruitment advisor after this session if you'd like a little bit of help planning your path through the CPA Professional Education Program modules in terms of which CFE you're going to be working towards, which entry point you want to start at. So folks, as something you kind of move forward to and do as your next step, I do suggest you have a look at our PEP webpage on our CPA Atlantic website, okay? So there are some very helpful links there that you can review to get ready. And so to navigate to the PEP webpage from our general homepage, once you're at cpaatlantic.ca, you can hover over Become a CPA in the main navigation bar and then select Programs from the drop-down menu. That takes you to a page with two options, Prep or PEP, right? And you're just going to click on the PEP button to get to a good overview of the professional education program. One of the first links you'll want to review is the PEP course calendar there. It's going to list the registration deadlines, the module start dates, your exam dates, those workshop dates that are mandatory. And so it's got some important things for you to kind of put in your calendar. You can also review the PEP fees, the fees associated with the CPA PEP on that page. You do want to note that with your Core 1 registration, you're also going to be invoiced for a one-time program licensing fee and your first year of annual candidate dues, which are separate from the annual student dues you were paying as a preparatory course student. There's also a good webpage that goes over the different pathways, right? If you want to kind of read a little bit more about that extended offering, and a PEP path planning worksheet that you can use to really kind of plan through your different semesters as well. I'll also note that in addition to these resources on our website, all CPA candidates are going to be enrolled in an Introduction to PEP course once you're enrolled in your first CPA PEP module. So when you enroll in Core 1 and get access to that, you'll also get access to this Introduction to PEP module in Desire to Learn. And this is just kind of a good way to get familiar with the professional education program and the policies and procedures, an overview of the module structure, a bit of an explanation on how to use D2L, although that's a platform you're all going to be familiar with by now, and some of the various resources that are going to be available to you as CPA candidates. So folks, if you're, an active preparatory course student, which I imagine you are if you're on today's session, regardless of if you're currently enrolled in a course or if you've already finished them, if your prep student dues are still active, you do not need to reapply to enter the CPA Professional Education Program, okay? There's no need to complete another eligibility assessment. You're simply going to go ahead and register for Core 1 through the self-serve registration portal, the portal that you've already been using to register for your prep courses. And once we receive and review your registration, we'll confirm that your eligibility, but there's no fee for that. As a reminder, folks, you must have that 65% average across your core prep courses to proceed into the CPA Professional Education Program. And so if you passed all of your prep courses, and remember with the core courses, you just needed that 60% mark as a passing mark, but you did not quite meet that required average, you will have to upgrade some of your marks. And so if you are worried that you might be on the cusp there, go ahead and reach out to us and we can give you a sense of what your overall core GPA is. So please don't hesitate to reach out to us. I did want to keep this to a nice brief session today, just kind of hitting on some of the highlights. But your student recruitment advisors are here to help you, plan your path, discuss the best time to start your CPA studies, help you weigh out your options if you want to do the extended or regular. So we are here as a resource for you folks. All right, everyone, thanks very much for joining us for this quick little session. I hope you found that to be a good overview and a valuable information, and I hope that you are feeling excited to move into the next stage of your CPA studies.